Hi guys, Maikeru here. This is my Runescape 3 tips and tricks video number 3. I know a lot of you enjoy the tips and tricks. It takes quite a while to find good tips and tricks that are gonna be beneficial to you all. But whenever I get enough for a video, I make sure I get these out to help you all. Hopefully you guys learned something in this video. Do let me know in the comments down below if you have any tips and tricks of your own. And let's get right into this video. This first tip is one that's fairly well known, but definitely something that I would suggest to do. If you go to your settings and you go to your graphics, what you can do is you can turn load-in screens off. If you turn load-in screens off, that means when you teleport to a lodestone or something, it will just instantly load instead of getting the load-in screen. Let me show you what I mean. So if I have load-in screens on, whenever I teleport to a lodestone, it's then going to give me a short loading screen and it will have the Runescape loading map and it's done, right? If I turn them off and I teleport to any lodestone or with any ring or anything like that, it's now not got a loading screen and it instantly loads up. This makes life so much nicer, especially if you're doing something like rune crafting or whatever. Every time you go into a rune crafting altar, it gives you a loading screen. It's just annoying. Definitely speeds up some load time in different areas. It's annoying when you're paying bonds for membership, right, and your bond runs out. You forget about it, you don't have the coins to buy a new bond or whatever. Well, something that's pretty cool that not a lot of people know is you can sell members items in non-members worlds. So I'm in a non-members world right now. As you can see, I can't equip my Glaven boots. They're just like a members item, right? So you could go to the Grand Exchange, chuck in your Glaven boots or whatever. I honestly don't know how much these sell for, but you can put in that offer and they sell, right? So now these boots have sold. I then could go buy a bond or whatever if I needed to, and I sold them on a free-to-play world. You can't buy members items on free-to-play, but you can sell the members items that you own in order to then get your bond back as a free-to-play. As you can see, if I was to search to buy these boots, no matching items are found because I'm in free-to-play. But I can sell them, and that's super useful. Another thing that's pretty cool is if you right click a tool leprechaun and go to compost, you can get the tool leprechaun to automatically compost for you. You can choose what type of compost you want him to use. So if I say super compost, I want him to use, 25 super compost. It costs me 1,500 coins each auto compost. I say yes, he takes the money, and as long as you have the super compost in his inventory, you can plant your tree. He'll automatically compost it for you 25 times before you have to pay him again. The max is 60,000, so you can literally just pay him loads of money and he'll do it forever pretty much. Really nice for tree runs and herb runs and stuff because it saves a hell of a lot of time and inventory space and hassle not needing the compost. Another tip is about dropping items when you're doing certain activities. We all know when you're fishing or something, you can drag fish on your action bar and you can just instantly drop them, right? Just by clicking the number. But not everything has the first one be in drop, and you can't do this with everything. A typical example of this would be woodcutting. So for example, say I was chopping down willow trees, right? If I put a willow log on my bar where the salmon and the trout would have been, the first click is craft. So I can't click this to drop it, right? It doesn't work like that. You can't customize the keybind to have it drop it. But if you position your action bar slightly above the bottom of your screen like I have right here, if you right click the willow logs, it goes to drop instantly. So if I wanted to drop my willow logs, I could then just right click, left click super fast, and boom, they're all dropped. And we can get back to woodcutting, and you can woodcut, power drop, and get on with your gains rather than having to go bank them or right click, dropping them in your inventory. So annoying. So we can just right click here, drop the logs, and it continues to woodcut. Perfect. Same applies with different methods like I done on my Ultimate Hardcore Iron Man. Gemstone rocks, I would mine the gems, cut them and drop them for crafting XP. It meant that I could drop the gems by putting them on my action bar like this. It's lovely, it's super useful. Something Jagex added recently was the fact that you can check your invention materials while doing other things. For example, when you were disassembling, if you would open up your invention materials interface, it would stop you disassembling. Now you can disassemble with this interface open to check how many parts or whatever you have. This also applies if you're in combat. Combat used to make you close off this interface. Now you can check your invention parts while in the middle of combat and all of these different things. Just a nice way to check if you have exactly what you need without cancelling what you're doing. Another tip I want to give links into a legendary pet. If you open up your pet interface, you can give your legendary pet abilities. This isn't the tip, but there is some useful abilities in here, and they're definitely worth checking out. Things like alching items for free every 10 minutes. Pretty good. The lifesaver's pretty good with a 2-hour cooldown, and then scavenge to pick up some items for you. Pretty nice, right? They're not the things we're going to be commenting on though. The thing we're going to be commenting on is the Beast of Burden. You can transfer your legendary pet into a Beast of Burden by using a pouch on it. Then you can use more pouches of a Beast of Burden to extend this duration. But they don't have to be the same pouch. What I mean by this is you can use a War Tortoise pouch, which is 6k. Then you can extend the duration of the War Tortoise pouch with Terror Birds, which are only 1.3k. So using that War Tortoise pouch on my Beast of Burden gives it 18 slots. I can then extend the duration of this with a Terror Bird. It has 43 minutes on the duration right now. If I use the Terror Bird, it then takes it up to 74. If I was to use another Terror Bird, it then takes it up to 115 minutes. This caps at 120 minutes, which is 2 hours. But instead of me spending 18k on 3 different War Tortoises, I can use the Terror Birds and save a fair amount of money. And if you do this a lot, definitely going to save you money in the long run. And I keep my 18 inventory spaces in my legendary pet. A lot of people take one-click teleports in case things get spicy, there's too many monsters on you, or you're bossing and it goes wrong and you're about to die. One-click teleports are super useful because they do get you out of places. But if you use something like a teleport tab, as you can see here, I teleport and all of the damage gets stored until I reach the destination and I get hit by all of it at once. I could have died there very easily if they hit a bit harder, or I had a couple more monsters on me. To avoid this, don't use teleport tabs and use the Ecto file. Ecto file is my favorite one-click teleport because it completely nullifies every bit of damage. As you can see here, I have so many monsters on me again, just like last time. I use the Ecto file, I teleport away, it doesn't store up any damage, doesn't deal any damage when I get to the Ecto functors, nothing. I still have the exact same amount of HP as when I clicked that Ecto file. Super useful, lovely. You know the D&D reset tokens, you have daily, weekly and monthly. Well, you can convert up into higher tiers of tokens with the amount of days or weeks required for the higher tier. What I mean by this is you can right click convert the daily D&D tokens into weekly or monthly. So I have 7 dailies here, I can convert those 7 dailies into 1 weekly and it will give me 4 weeklies now. With these 4 weeklies, I can combine the 4 weeklies into 1 monthly, and now I have an extra monthly D&D to use on the Oyster or something. You cannot convert down, you can only convert up, but this is really useful if you have a handful of daily D&Ds that you are not going to use. You can convert them into weeklies or monthlies, and it's really, really nice. Another tip that I find super helpful that I do all the time, but people don't seem to really know about, is you can teleport straight to the Liberation of Mazcab or any of the elite dungeons with the grouping interface. This makes it easy to do Nemi Forest at the Liberation of Mazcab, or do any of the token farming or whatever without actually having to run there. So all you gotta do is view the selected thing, make yourself a group. Once you've made yourself a group, just update that group, and then when you ready up, it will then allow you to teleport that group. You are the only person in that group, and it allows you to teleport right there. And then if I was going to Liberation of Mazcab, you see, I could run over here and get to Nemi Forest nice and easily. So for example, if I wanted to go to Elite Dungeons 3, I could view the selected one, create myself a group, update that group, ready up, and then it will allow me to teleport directly outside of the elite dungeon. You can always just leave the group afterwards or whatever and you're good to go. Here's another tip that a couple of my friends use while doing clue scrolls with Bladed Dive. Normally if you do Bladed Dive, you would use your Bladed Dive ability. It gives you this marker on your cursor. Then you click the place and you Bladed Dive over there, right? What people don't know is if you press it and you get this marker, if you hover over your mini-map, you can actually Bladed Dive using the mini-map. So it's pretty good for clues and stuff when you're searching around and you can use this map as reference. You can just click on the map and then you Bladed Dive over there. It's a pretty neat little tip. I don't know whether it'll be useful for you guys because I personally don't use it, but I definitely know people that do. There's a cool extra settings menu that isn't in your normal area. This settings menu is on the world select. In this menu, you can make it show free and members world or one specifically. So if you're only going to go to member worlds ever, you can turn off all the free to play worlds so you don't accidentally hop to those. You can also toggle loot share worlds, so it shows loot share only, or it doesn't show any that have loot share, or all of them. My favourite part of this is probably toggling the world hop confirmation on or off. Normally when you hop to a world, you can go to like world 4 or whatever, and it'll be like, are you sure you want to switch? And you have to say yes or no. You can toggle this confirmation off, so it will just instantly switch to whatever world you want with no worries. This makes it so much easier to hop worlds, way less clicking, and just more convenient. It's a very nice quality of life update in my opinion, alongside toggling all the free-to-play worlds off so you don't accidentally hop there. And that is all for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully some of these tips were useful to you guys and you learned something new. If you have any tips of your own, do feel free to let me know in the comments down below. I'll try and get these videos out as much as I can whenever I learn new tips and tricks. And until next time, see ya.